Hey everybody, this is PD from the Spinner Rack, and today I'm going to do the origin of Wolverine. Some of the tidbits are in this book here, right? So basically Wolverine was, the initial idea for Wolverine was by Roy Thomas. He wanted to create a new character and he wanted it to be from Canada, and he picked Lee Wayne. I think one of them had the idea for it to be named Wolverine. So Wolverine would be from Canada, and since Lin Wayne was good with accents, he thought he would have Len do it, right? So they get John Romita to design the character. He designs the character, and then Herb Trimpe draws the character from introducing Hulk, Incredible Hulk 180. His full appearance is in the most very expensive Hulk 181, and then his it ends in that's the arc in 182, right? Then his next appearance is in giant size X-Men #1 and X-Men 94, where he joins the X-Men. He doesn't show his face early on, right? So another tidbit: his costume had changed a little. His face mask was error done by Gil Kane, but Dave Cockrum had liked what he saw, so they kept it, and he kept him when he inked the Gil Kane's art. Excuse me. Ooh. And so then they're moving forward. So at this point, early on, Wolverine hasn't been unmasked, and John Byrne drew a sketch and sent it to Chris Claremont, since Chris Claremont was working on the X-Men at this point. And but it's also hinted before that Wolverine had all this psycho training that didn't take. He was still as vicious as ever. And so Byrne had sent in this sketch, and Chris Clem said, "Oh no, you're wrong." Now Bleeding Cool has talked about this sketch, and they've made a big deal about it, saying Byrne, it's the way he has worded. He actually, I think Rich Johnson was kind of trying to say that he wasn't meant as a slight, but he was kind of saying it in a way where it seemed like Byrne had seen Cockrum's design and drew his own when he sent it to Chris Claremont as an idea, knowing that he's had other ideas that Marvel hadn't used, like his idea for the X-Men, which ultimately wasn't used. So one of the things that Chris Claremont saw it and said, "Oh, you're wrong." Byrne was like, "It's not wrong. It wasn't. It was just an idea, because Wolverine was supposed to be a young person." But David gave him the old sort of weathered look, like someone had been around the block a few times, which Len Wein was kind of bothered by, because he always planned him to be like 19, and he said, that considerably ages him, right? So with that said, Wolverine at this point, Claremont and Cockrum were saying, what makes this guy special, and what makes him a mutant? So they had two ideas. One idea is that the claws would be a part of him, but the claws would actually be adamantium, like they would be biological adamantium. That would be his mutant powers, which would be having these adamantium claws, right? So then, and they also had the idea that Wolverine would be a mutated Wolverine, mutated into a human being. That's why he was so animalistic. And Archie Goodwin rejected it, because that was, I think, a origin of Spider-Woman. That was her original origin, or something like that. So moving forward, this is where I get into spoiler town. This is the spoiler town. This is spoiler town. But instead of me spoiling it with that, we're going to make a big skip, hop, and a jump. Because we know that Wolverine's been in Canada. We know that he's been connected to Department H and the Alpha Flight. But we don't know how it was put together. So since this is my second time doing this, since it's in here and you might not have read it, and what I want you to do is go to John Byrne's webpage, Byrne Robotics and go see an idea, not possibly not the exact same thing, but it is Byrne doing his version of the of how Wolverine got the adamantium. Now, only thing I will say, which is knowledge, was knowledge that Wolverine had an adamantium skeleton, whether it be laced or not. Yeah, that idea came from John Byrne. He was the one who said his whole body was had this adamantium bones. Now, a lot of people have said when they see Wolverine getting punched before this was established, like, how could Cyclops punch him? How could this happen? Because everyone has been helping to add stuff to Wolverine, and they didn't know. No one, I think Byrne says, no one knew that Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man, was already created. So Claremont was adding him walking up to a deer, trying to touch a deer. Byrne, they're all adding stuff to Wolverine, and he's just easy to add this stuff to. So Byrne has this origin. It's here. I'm gonna stop, and this time I'm not going to spoil it. Go see this. You already know he has adamantium bones. See how he got it. It's the only thing I'll give you. Go to byrnerobotics.com and check it out. Right? So there, hop, skip, and a jump. Past this, go read. There was X-Men 3. Was it 139, which has a brief, connecting with Heather and James McDonald Hudson, who are Wolverine's sort of family. That can't say much about that, but a hint about Wolverine having the claws and saying this makes him a freaking killing machine, right? And then when we jump past, we don't get too much Wolverine's history until we get to the Alpha Flight. When we get to Alpha Flight, we show a past history of Wolverine being at Department H. We then see what else? As we move forward, I think Chris Claremont did the Kitty and Wolverine miniseries, where they hint that the Wolverine skeleton was for Ogun, this samurai sort of mystical character. I think that's the character, and that's why Lady Deathstrike is after him, because I think that was hinted in the Alpha Flight, one of the issues after Byrne had left. I think that's like Alpha Flight. What is it like? It might be in the mid 30s, something like that. But they have a story where Lady Deathstrike, as a human, is out to get Wolverine because of he feels that her father, that was her father's adamantium skeleton. Then that's where the Kitty and Wolverine thing picks up, and he has, he's fighting Ogun in this, and Ogun possesses Kitty Pryde, all this nutty stuff. And I don't think there's much else as far as Wolverine's origin up to that point. There's some bits that Byrne had given up, which we will see, because Chris Claremont did there's some bits that it's hard to say, because the stuff that Byrne was interviewed saying is also in this book, so I can't say any of that stuff. But there's also the Sabretooth thing. Now, the design that Byrne came up with for Wolverine was the design that was used for Sabretooth, right? So we'll be playing with that stuff in this origin too, so I'm going to stay away from that. But there's always been a hinted connection. So I might do something afterwards, but I just wanted to do this to get you guys to go out there and see this. I mentioned all the key issues. Then there's Wolverine 10, done by Chris Claremont, John Buscema, and Bill Sienkiewicz. This is the early story between Wolverine and Sabretooth, and the death of a character and them fighting. There's something that was hinted in what's that thing where who's that guy? Sabretooth comes around and plays tag with Wolverine, and they kind of meet up from time to time. So that's it. I don't want to get into the Joe Quesada origin thing. I don't want to do origin part 2. I don't want to do origin series. None of that. It was, even though it was stretched out and he was still, they'd given us bits and pieces. Some of the stuff that's come after, his brother Dog, was Dakin, all these other stuff. We're exercising that out of these origin. You're not getting me to do it. You're not getting me to do it. I'm staying with the already John, was it Roy Thomas, John Romita, Herb Trimpe, Len Wein, Chris Claremont, Dave Cockrum, John Byrne. You got Jim Shooter adding the lace with adamantium line in there. It's just a character that you just add on and tack on every bit to the character from his the comic book peers. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna give you any more. I'll come back. I still want to do some more X-Men Elsewhen. I'm very happy that it's out. It's been very enjoyable. It's been a lot of Phoenix stuff. A lot of well, Wolverine has kind of had a back seat for a little while, but he's coming back and doing stuff recently. We've gotten the origin now. It's 27 issues. Well, it's past 27 issues. You know, he say he might go to 50, but you know, could always be more. This could be, you know. Well, there's always something else in the future that Byrne might want to do, so he might want to call it wrap it up at 50. But I'm enjoying the ride while it lasts. He was supposed to be retired, but he's still here. So get yourself a dose of Byrne doing Wolverine. He's getting a solo story, and not really a solo story because the X-Men are around there, but it's mostly about him. And I guess that's it. Spin a rack out.